Konnichiwa, and welcome to Tsuki no Ame, where we try Japanese sweets and treats. Today we have another DIY candy to try. This is the Maruta Nomucho Muscat Melon Jelly DIY candy. And I don't know, I'm both excited and nervous for this one. Part because, it is melon. I love melon. I think it's amazing. But also, the instructions are a little strange. There are two different ways you can make this. What the difference between those two are, aside from the amount of water, I'm not entirely sure because I've run into some interesting moments with Google Translate. This is another reason why some of these, you gotta take them with a grain of salt. You gotta be careful with them. Because here, I think it's too small to be able to read. Maybe you can see it. It clearly says like 2/3 cup and 1/3 cup water. When I was using the translate on it, it was saying 3/5 at one point. It was giving weird fractions when those are probably the clearest part on here. It was saying creamy versus bulbul. I don't know what that means. It's not a Japanese word. It's not an English word. I don't know what language that was from. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. I figured, you know what? I have some idea what creamy is as opposed to bulbul. So we're doing that. So this is going to be a fun experiment. Itadakimasu. Oh, of course the package does not want to open. Oh my gosh. That really just does not want to open. Like, at all. There we go. Okay, there is. It said that there was a straw in there. I was not seeing a straw. There is, in fact, a straw. The diagram on the back showed lines on the cup. There are no lines on this cup. All right. Okay, so step 1, according to the directions, is you add the powder. Okay. And yes, I absolutely measured out the water first. Very glad, since it turns out there is no... Oh, okay. So apparently we're doing this the bulbul method because there's not enough space in this cup for the other method. All right. I have seen nothing on the instructions saying or indicating that. I really probably should have figured out just from looking at the cup and comparing it to my measuring cup, but apparently, what can I say? Filming day gets interesting. I will say it smells really nice. It smells really, really good. And yes, it said to stir for a full minute. And apparently then it's supposed to start doing something. I don't know. My guess is that it's supposed to start firming up, kind of like Jell-O. Your guess is currently about as good as mine, unless of course you've already seen this video, in which case you're welcome to laugh at me as I fumble through this. I would in your shoes. It does. It smells amazing. Okay. Are you really? I've been stirring this for over a minute at this point. It's it does say 1 minute. It is saying stir. Okay. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit here. This is not turning out how I expected. Right. I don't know if it's gonna do anything. I'm wondering if it was saying like a third of the way through the cup, maybe? But if so, then why didn't they put indicator lines? I don't know. So I'm going to see if I can try this. Oh, geez. So on the bottom, there's jelly forming. It has a nice texture, actually. It's not bad. The flavor is really good. It tastes amazing. I am not entirely sure. I think they meant for like a third of the cup, but then I don't know why they didn't put indicator lines on it. I really don't. I think flavor-wise, it's pretty good. I think the concept is really fun. I think they need to think it through a bit more, especially if they're going to, especially if the stores that are selling these things overseas, I think need to think through their selections a bit better. Just because, again, this has no indicator on the side, right? Usually, like with instant noodles and whatnot, you have like the water level lines in the cup to make it easier to fill it up properly. This has no lines at all. And since the instructions aren't in English, which, I mean, fair enough. I get it. I really do. We've done a lot of them on here where, I didn't have instructions in English, but it means I'm relying on translator apps. And so if they had the lines on the cup, then they could just say, fill to the first line for this method, this line for this, and that would be a lot clearer. In fact, even with me having pre-measured water, if they'd had lines on the cup, I would have just gone to the lines, even with it pre-measured. So yeah, Gochi-sama. So we did the Maruta Nomucho Muscat Melon Jelly DIY, which, yeah, they need to. All right, import sites, please, if you're watching this, listen to me. You gotta test these for people who have no access to properly translating your instructions. Especially, this was one that was fairly inexpensive, right? it needs to be understandable with Google Translate doing weird things. Like I said earlier, despite the fact that it's very clearly giving me fractions on the back, they were giving me the wrong numbers with Google Translate. And yeah, like I'm trying to learn Japanese, but my Japanese is nowhere near enough to understand this. I can find where it says 1 minute and that's about it. There's not much more in there that I actually understand. So yeah, fun might be worth trying, but at the same time, I don't know. I think the flavor is good, but just because the instructions, I kind of have to say, there are easier to understand kits out there, unfortunately. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my shirt, the link for that is down in the description below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Jane.